Welcome to the Hockey Huddle, the ultimate podcast for hockey fans by hockey fans, where we break down the latest on and off ice from power plays to game-changing trades. Whether you're a diehard fan or new to the sport, we've got all the action, analysis, and hot takes you'll need to stay in the game. We'll bring you exclusive interviews with other fans, weekly breakdowns, and everything you need to know from the NHL and beyond. So lace up your skates, grab your stick, and let's drop the puck on today's episode of the Hockey Huddle. The Winnipeg. What's in Winnipeg?
Managers conference for work, and I'm probably one of the crazy people that really enjoys actually going to them because
I used to live there. We went to a couple of games. Saw Rick Nash and the New York Rangers play against Winnipeg.
Nice.
Saw Howard Chuck's retirement ceremony game. I guess I've seen probably 3 or 4 games there. It's good bar. Fans in the building from glass to ceiling. They're
Beautiful.
100% engaged and they love the game. And
Love
this
it.
dog is sniffing. Can you go away? We're trying to record a podcast right now, dog.
Hey, I was trying to come up with what was going on with Zach Werenski. Okay. This dude is on fire and scoring. I think he scored like 17 goals or something like that. Anyways, he's top 3 in points for defense, man. So then I was like, it'd be that hard. Let's go figure out what's going on. Well, Austin Matthews has 20 goals, 21 goals, something like that. He's got about, 40 shots on net. Zach Werenski has 201 shots on net as a defenseman. Yes. Dude.
Holy shit.
Shots out of the inlet, right? Zach Werenski, all he does is he goes out and he just shoots the puck. You know that toy and you just hit the top of his head and just shoots the puck?
Yeah.
That's Zach Werenski.
Can you see this?
Shooting the puck.
Are you trying to? Oh, yeah. Are you joining the podcast right now?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. It's dogs and hockey now.
There you go. It's called Docky. Love it.
Doc.
Welcome to Docky Talk.
Can you go away now? Go away. Go see Mom. She has treats.
Oh, there you go. T-word.
No, it didn't.
Doesn't believe it.
Doesn't. No. Just staring at me.
Yeah. So I was looking at it, and then McCarr's, of course, number 1. He's got 168 shots on that too, right?
Wow.
Tons of shots from these guys. So it's so funny. You hear the broadcasters say, well, the Leafs, I don't know what they're going to do because only their good guys are scoring. I'm like, that's their job. They only have 7 guys scoring out of the 12 guys. I'm like, well, 3 guys don't play on the 4th line, really. They play like 8 minutes. And then you got Robertson, who's got 8 goals, and you've got Pacioretty, who's got like 7 goals, and who else? Lorenz has 5 goals. But nobody's really scoring. They really pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. But I'm like, just guess what? That's their job. The defense doesn't score for us. They scored 12 goals. Who cares?
Well, I was at the game.
Our offense scores.
I was at the Calgary-Toronto game. So Toronto came to town. They're in Calgary, and Pacioretty's one of those guys that stands out. And it's like when you're watching on TV, I don't know, he doesn't really stand out. He kind of does, kind of doesn't. But I'll tell you what, man, on the ice, he's a pretty big
He's a
dude.
difference maker, right?
He's a different. No, I don't know if I would say difference maker.
Well, I mean, for the Leafs, he is. He's that guy. He can play up and down. He can play first line, second line, third line. Slap him in wherever.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it. And that's definitely what I noticed. I'll tell you what's weird though. So obviously I've moved to the Calgary area. I got some tickets to the Flames games, and I've been to a lot of the games, and I'm cheering for the Flames. I'm at the games and I'm cheering for them, and I'm celebrating their goals and their players. And then my team comes to town, and it's weird. It's weird cheering against the team that I've cheered for 17 games that I've been to. And now it's like I wearing my Leafs jersey, I'm in my seats, and let me tell you what. Speaking of jerseys, there is definitely more Leafs jerseys than Flames jerseys in that
Flames jerseys
for that game. It was probably a 55-45 split, 55 Leafs, 45 Flames. We also, speaking of seats, I've become very adept. So my seats aren't they're not fantastic. I'm about 10 rows. I could reach up and probably touch the ceiling if I wanted to.
Okay.
Are you done? What? Why? Can you go away? So, anyways, we don't have the best seats, but we have good seats. You can see the ice as a hockey fan. You can see exactly what's going on. Anyways, so I've become very adept at finding empty seats in the stadium in the saddle now.
Seat finder.
Buddy. So a couple of games ago, I was with oldest stepdaughter down. So I'm like, hey, look at these seats down here. They're in the lower bowl. They're 15 rows up. That row is empty. We're gonna go down there. We're gonna go see, we're gonna go take over those seats. So sure enough, they were at the end of the first. Whoop, down we go. We've got beautiful, behind the net seats. Same thing happened with the Toronto game. So I'm with my other stepdaughter, younger stepdaughter, and I'm like, okay, here's the plan. If these seats are empty in the next few minutes, we're gonna go down. And we had to pull a fast one on security. It was like, I was feeling pretty good about myself. So there's these couple that are talking to the security guy who's trying to make sure the riffraff doesn't get into the club seats, because we ended up in the club seats.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Couple starts talking to him, and I'm like, this is our time. Act like we're supposed to be here. Walk right through. And there we are. And we were sitting in the club seats. Ran into a TikToker, actually. So there's this TikToker called Curtis from Alberta, huge Leafs fan. Cool. His basement is a shrine to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Beautiful. Do you show you pictures?
So I've seen his TikToks. So I'm going to tag him. Okay. And I'll tag him in one or two of our TikToks, because I got a chance to chat with him a little bit after, in between periods. But he was there, and I'll post some pictures in some of these videos. The amount of Leafs fans, it was insane. The Leafs warm up, everybody was on the Leafs side for the warm up. There was 4 kids on the Calgary side, everybody else on the Leafs side. And when they come on the ice, they're getting cheered. And obviously Matthews and Marner didn't play the game, actually, in Calgary.
Yeah, that's right. He was out.
Yeah, I guess he was nursing something from practice the other day. Anyways, so interesting game. It really, really interesting to be a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, a lifelong, hardcore part of who I am is a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. And cheering against the team I've been cheering for 17 games, I guess. It's kind of weird. Anyways.
You know the feeling, and I understand what you're saying exactly, because my son, who's playing hockey now, and of course, he's 12 and he's making the NHL, right? And so of course, we have these discussions. And he goes, Dad, if I got drafted by the Montreal Canadiens, who would your favorite team be?
Oh,
and I go, sorry, buddy, silly, you suck. No, I'm kidding. I said, dude, I go, who do you think? Right? So I know what you're saying. You're out there, you're living it, you're in the area. So you kind of, it's sort of like in football, I have a NFC team and an AFC team, right? And that's okay. Right? In football, that's okay.
We've talked about that.
Not as much, but I can understand if you grew up as a Leaf fan and then you're transplanted to Alberta, Calgary area, and then you start to follow that team and you see a lot more about that team, because you're not going to see as much about Toronto as you would out there, even though it's Canada, so you might. But anyways, I could understand why. And it was probably a weird feeling. It's sort of like, am I cheating on my team? You know what I mean? Is it a weird feeling like that, right?
There's this guy that I totally get it. There's this guy I used to work with named Kevin years and years ago, and we had the great conversation, and it was Vancouver that had gone forward in the playoffs. It was Vancouver, Boston, and we were talking one day, and I was like, I guess I'm kind of rooting for Vancouver because it's a Canadian team, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I hate Vancouver. I'm not cheering for Boston or Vancouver, and how can you, as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, say you're cheering for Vancouver? And I kind of sat back and for a second and I thought, that's a pretty good point. I wasn't cheering for Vancouver. I was cheering for Boston to lose, essentially. That wasn't really cheering for Vancouver to win. But he made a great point, which is it's a Canadian team. I support Team Canada, but I also I hate the Ottawa Senators and I hate the Montreal Canadiens.
Right.
And I really don't like Vancouver Canucks. I don't know.
See, I mean, I know what you're saying for sure. For me, I don't really hate Vancouver. It's what did this one guy say? I was out on a golf course and this guy rolls up and he's wearing a golf shirt. I don't know. He's probably mid-40s, almost 50 years old, probably about 5'8.5", 5'9". He's got this kid 6'2", fit kid. He comes out, he's wearing a golf shirt and it says New Jersey Devils on it. And it's on the 10th hole, so they look like they can play golf. My buddy Shane, who you've all met, actually, he can swing a golf club. You would never know that he's a pretty good golfer as long as you don't count mulligans. But anyways, that's another story. So we're out there and we go, do you want to play through? There's only 2 of you, and there was 4 of us. And they go, yeah, cool. And then I go, they're Jersey Devils. I go, they suck. I go, I don't like them at all. Not true, but I said that to him, right, just to get a rise out of him. And he goes, nobody hates the Devils. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Nobody really does hate the Devils. It's sort of not nowadays.
Unless you're a New York Rangers fan.
Right, or an Islanders fan. But
yeah.
Same with Vancouver. I don't really, I'm not sure what Vancouver has such a hard on for the Leafs. They're oh, the Leafs suck. Now we're going to play our game at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's over Pacific, so it's 4 o'clock. And I get it, you're a little riled up, but it's on a Saturday. I mean, if it was during the weekday, that would never happen. But guess what? We're playing you on the weekend for a reason, because it's going to draw in Leaf fans wherever we are, right? So
exactly.
Vancouver just hates us. They do, and I don't understand it, really. Because half of the Leafs, somewhere from, I don't know, 1970s all the way through to present day, have played for Vancouver and vice versa. There's a lot of guys that have gone to both teams or played for both teams. But
I can think
whatever.
of one superstar in particular that played for both teams.
For
And
sure.
Number might be
Mr. Sundin.
There you go.
Number 13.
Right. Number 13.
And then Tiger Williams played for Leafs in Vancouver.
Tiger
right,
Williams.
Number 22, yeah.
Yeah.
Tiger Williams, crazy guy, right?
Wow.
And there's been a bunch of other guys there.
That's interesting, yeah. Yeah, Vancouver's and Vancouver is in Calgary, Vancouver is hated. So
I can see that.
And it was the New Year's Eve game. So the teams that, like, the loudest I've heard that arena was the other day with the Toronto game. That's the loudest I've heard that arena. But the very, very, very close second was against Vancouver. And it was a lot more Flames fans than Vancouver fans versus Toronto, Calgary at this one. And yeah, they were vocal. It was fun. Like, it's fun to be in that environment where people are just having a great time and getting vocal.
I guess it's sort of like Edmonton and Vancouver would be like Ottawa, Montreal out here kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Right?
You know who had a great time at the Toronto-Calgary game? William Nylander. He had a wonderful time.
He had a great old time, and that was his second. Weird. That was only his second career hat trick, which was
how weird is that?
8 years previous to the day, February 4th, 8 years prior.
Insane.
He scored his first hat trick.
Yeah,
is that
so
crazy?
Weird. So weird.
He's from He was born in Calgary, right?
Born in Calgary. That's right.
Born in Calgary. So,
he's sitting with 33 goals right now. He is number 2 in scoring in the league, behind
5 behind Draisaitl.
Leon. Yeah. Leon's having a year, man. Holy, like, this guy is just.
Well, I mean, again, if you look at the numbers, again, Leon's got 38 goals, but I think he's got, I don't know, 3 or 4 more on the power play, but dude plays 21 and a half minutes a night. Nylander's now up to 19, so still, Draisaitl is playing 2+ minutes more than Nylander per game. And again, if you do the math, and we've done this before, 2 minutes per game over 82 games, right, that could equate to an extra like 10 games played. So there's something in the numbers there. So I know Nylander's talking about playing more, and he definitely is. So I mean, if you break it down, if the same amount of time played, I think that Nylander can catch him.
You know what's interesting when you watch Nylander, and like there's certain guys on the ice that I've learned through the years that they are game changers and pace setters, and they stand out above everybody else. And Willie Nylander is one of those guys where, should he get it in his head that he is going to take the puck and do circles around, and I'm going to go here and I'm going to deke there and I'm going to shoot the puck. He scored 2 goals. Like, he could have done it all day long. It didn't matter when and how. And it's against Dustin Wolf, who's having a hell of a year and is a hell of a goalie. And he got handcuffed by Willie on 2 of those goals, where twice I think he went low blocker, low glove on the 2 goals that weren't the empty net goals. And just, it was on his stick and off his stick. And I was sitting behind the net, or kind of behind, like almost behind the net on that second goal. Didn't see the puck come off. I played hockey. Didn't see the puck come off the stick. Boom, in the net. Like,
he's unbelievable,
buddy.
That was the only game that I've seen, and I've seen a bunch of Calgary games this year too, just because I know you're out there, so I'm watching them. And Dustin Wolf looked ordinary for the first time all year that I've seen him play. I don't think I've seen him have an ordinary game before, and he definitely looked ordinary. And I've been definitely keen on Nylander, besides obviously my friend Deb, like goo goo gaga on over this guy.
Well, my sister too. Oh my God, my sister loves Willie.
Let
me clarify, Willie Nylander, not the Willie. I mean,
sorry, yes. It's good call.
Sorry.
Good cleanup. So, but I'm watching him, and like you and I talked about it, when you're at a game, you don't have to watch what the camera's watching. You can kind of watch the players and stuff like that. Yeah. It's almost like Nylander senses when it's time to go. He goes up, he comes around, he sees our player has the puck. The other guys are still kind of watching the puck. He's gone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's why he's got so many breakaways, because he sets himself up to get just past the D, or when he's hitting full speed, he's just crossing both D and he's gone, and the puck's right on his stick. And it's like great pass by the Leaf defenseman, but Nylander's the one that's been burying it. He probably should have had 5 goals that game.
Well, so you brought up 2 great points there. So one, he did it twice in the game, where he got going and the defensemen were kind of watching the play, and he got in behind them, and I was like, oh, buddy, here we go on another breakaway. Nothing really nothing really materialized on it. But I'll tell you who else looked really good was OEL. And OEL with those passes, man, whoa. And that is like I have never seen OEL in a live game until this game the one that just passed. Man, the speed, the crispness of his play, the positioning, and it's all that stuff that you don't really see on camera. Where he just it reminds me of Mackenzie Weegar and how much like how hockey bromance have I been about Mackenzie Weegar.
Oh, for sure,
right
buddy.
Spot, right time, gritty. OEL, buddy. He is laser beams.
So now, has he always had that bit of an edge to him, OEL, or did he pick it up when he was in Florida for a cup of coffee down there? Okay,
which is great
because he's got an edge that I don't remember ever seeing him with an edge, and now I'm like, he's the kind of guy that gives that extra shot in the back of the head, right? You're like, what? And I'm usually yipping because the Leafs usually don't have those kind of players that are agitators that are going to do that. But he's really getting in there, right? I was very impressed with him. Put it this way, that game started at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I wasn't crying about it like Vancouver fans. Anyways, I watched the entire game. What a great game. I mean,
it was good.
Wow. And you know what? The pickup, those two guys, Farabee and Frost, who you picked up from Philadelphia. Philadelphia is so dumb getting rid of those two. I watched those two. Those two were up-and-comers for Philly. They have been for the last 3-4 years. They are going to be great players for your team, man. Like,
how
good Calgary,
did Farabee look? Oh, Farabee looked amazing.
He's got a great edge to him.
Yeah. A gritty dude, top line. Man, again, I'm going to see him a couple more times here, and excited to watch him play. He's gritty, but he finishes. Like the guy scores goals, no problem. He had one called back, and then
that sucked. He's wearing 86 for the team. He scored again. Both those goals are goals. They called both those goals back.
Both, again. Yeah. Tavares had a high stick. That's a goal. Like his stick was below the bar. The only part of his stick that was above the bar is the blade.
Was the butt end. Yeah. Well, the tip, Raymond.
His stick's not above the crowd. 100% a goal. And all the fans kind of, like all the Calgary and Toronto fans are kind of going, that's a goal. Like everybody's agreeing that's a goal.
Everybody's agreeing upon it, yeah.
On the other side, on goalie interference, everybody's saying the same thing. That's a goal.
Yeah, that's a goal. That's a goal.
He touched him. That's not goalie interference. Like, it didn't impact the play. It didn't impede him.
Not at all. That was stupid. They both should have been goals.
Stupid.
But it still ended up a high-scoring game, 6-3, which was awesome.
Which is great to see.
Love that game. What a great game. It was fun, especially for Leaf fans, because we needed to put 6 goals in. Loved it.
You know who else? Good. Speaking of Leafs fans, you know what else is exciting is the return of a certain goalie to Riley too, but a return of a certain goalie to the lineup last yesterday, night. And in the nice 3-1 win. That's Stolarz. It is fantastic to have him back. He looked like he was in form. Like he looked okay. So he looked a little shaky in the first 10 minutes, but after that 10 minutes, like he looked good. Like he was making saves. Like I've got no problem.
But he plays the puck so well too. Like I totally forgot what a great stick handler he is with the puck.
I know.
He's like a third defenseman. Like with Joseph Woll, even though Joseph Woll's been playing pretty good, like B plus maybe.
B plus for sure.
I really, Stolarz is a difference maker, and we needed him back, and I'm surprised he came back before the break. I thought he would rest till February 22nd, but I'm glad he came back.
I thought you'd see him after the First Nations for sure. Like don't rush him back unless he's been itching. Unless he's been ready for a week, and they've been holding him to say wait for a week, play a couple games, and then rest again. See how it feels and then rest again. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. So there's a break coming up, and I wanted to talk to you about trade deadline. So trade deadline's coming up. We've seen some trades
March
happen.
7th.
We've seen a few things. So Vancouver, obviously, wow. Vancouver's been active and moving Miller and adding another Pettersson to their lineup.
Yeah. Anybody named Pettersson, please come to Vancouver.
That's right. Yes. One more. Yep. And I guess they had 2 Sedins, so they thought maybe 3 Petterssons. I don't know.
Yeah. For sure.
Also, Vancouver fans are not a fan of us telling them how bad their goalie sucks, by the way. We got
Demko.
The TikTok comments, the Vancouver people, you did not like hearing that your goalie is shit. And let me reiterate, despite your comments, your goalie is shit and you need a new one if you're going to go anywhere with your team. So.
Yeah, Demko, he had a great year, 2 years ago, and then he's been injured.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's happened to him. He needs to figure out what's going on with him, man. He's
some caution tape in front of the net, but I don't know, like a chair with a lacrosse stick in it or something. I don't know. That might be
probably
better.
Save more, right?
Yeah, probably. Anyways, hey.
So I heard that they're all. Sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say about Vancouver. Like, what are they thinking that TJ's not there anymore? They're all happy. They're like, the guy's not here anymore. That's awesome, and we're just going to every game now. That's not happening.
No, it's not. And that's the drama that was supposed to have been sorted out, and Pettersson coming back in the lineup, and like, there is smoke or fire in Vancouver right now. And hey, that's good. Other teams being in trouble, like they're a good team. They got some great players. You got Quinn Hughes and Besser and Pedersen. Like you got some elite players there, and you can't figure your shit out. So good. That only benefits Toronto. So
yeah, for sure. I think Besser is like a poor man's William Nylander, potentially Alexander Nylander, maybe ish.
I'd love to have him. But how great would it be to have him in the lineup with like the trade deadline's coming up, right? Who's out there? Are they going to move Besser at the deadline?
Yeah, they probably should, because they're not going to make the playoffs. And even if they do, they're going to limp in and then get beat out in the first round. So, I mean, do you do that? Like, who as a forward wears number 6?
That's a goalie. Like, that's a Phil Housley number all day long, right?
Yeah, come on.
And 6 is not a popular number, to be honest. Like,
no, there's like 4 of them in the league. There's like 4 number 6s.
Like Phil Housley.
I'm just saying that to make them feel better about number 6. He's terrible. Like, anyways, we'll have to dive into that. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe the 1 fell off. He's like 16 or something, or I don't know.
66?
Perhaps. Somebody hit him so hard the 1 fell off. I don't know.
Okay,
he doesn't
here we
get
go.
hit, does he?
Oh, here you go. There's a couple. Okay, so some weirdos.
Defensemen, though, usually.
Chikrin wears 6.
Chikrin.
Jamie Draisaitl, the rookie defenseman. He wears number 6.
Defenseman.
Adam Larson from the Seattle Snakes.
Defenseman.
Callie Johansson, yeah, that's right. They're playing here tomorrow. I'm taking Harrison to the game.
Yeah? Beautiful.
His favorite team, obviously, the Seattle Snakes, or Vegas Golden Knights, or Toronto Maple Leafs, or Calgary Flames, depending on what day it is. I digress. Callie Johansson wore number 6. Toronto Maple Leafs retired and the number 6.
Ron Ellis?
No, buddy.
Oh, he was number...
No, not Ron Ellis. Ron Ellis was number 11? What was Ron Ellis?
No, he was.
So what legendary Toronto Maple Leaf wore number 6? And I don't think I would have got this one either.
What year?
95, I'm going to guess.
I don't know. Babe Dye.
Wow, that was a really interesting guess. No.
Number 6. Oh, buddy, I digress on number 6.
Ace Bailey.
Ooh, Ace Bailey.
But we're going back in time. Like, obviously, we're going way back.
30s, I was going to say. When I played hockey, my first number that was given to me was number 15.
Ron Ellis did wear number 6.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Ron Ellis definitely wore number 6, but they didn't retire his number?
Look at me. I think he's one of the ones that's like, we're sort of retiring, but not retiring. We're honoring. Honor. Kind of number 6.
Ring of Honor, not...
Ring of Honor. Ring of Fire, Ring of Honor.
So how did he wear, unless they retired Ace Bailey after Ron Ellis wore the number?
Maybe. And actually, my second year in hockey, I wore number 6 for the Lakers. Yeah.
Oh,
crazy.
Wow. For the Los Angeles Lakers, did you also get traded to the LA Lakers along with Luka Doncic?
Yeah, for sure. Cost him $110 million. It's fine.
Let's go off topic a little bit. What is wrong with the Dallas Mavericks? You traded Luka Doncic for a bag of balls and a first round pick. What? What are
Mark Cuban's bored of basketball? That's what's going on. He's like, I need to shake this stuff up. I need to do something. And maybe he lost a bet in a poker game. I could see that happen with Mark Cuban. He's like, who do you want? I'm all in. Dude had a full boat, and the other guy had 4 of a kind. So he had to trade. Right? That's what happened. We'll start that rumor.
What planet did that make any sense whatsoever? Like, did you know Ron Ellis passed away this year? Speaking of, I'm like a raccoon on meth right now. Just switch topics like that.
Look at us, but we're all over. We knew. We sensed something was up. You said we talked about Besser, number 6. I'm like, Ron Ellis is the only player that I can really remember that wore 6 for the Leafs.
Originally number 8, and he switched to number 6 after Ace Bailey, a fan of Ellis, asked him to switch. So Ace Bailey asked Ron Ellis to wear the number 6. That's a pretty cool story, actually.
That's
Ellis
pretty cool.
won the Stanley Cup in 1966-67 and a Summit Series champ in 1972 with an All-Star, blah, 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 blah.
Beautiful.
Back to trade deadline. So trade deadline's coming up. Players are getting moved. We're seeing some people out there, like some assets getting snatched up. What does Toronto need right now at the trade deadline to make a difference? Currently they're sitting in second place in the Atlantic. They're 1 point behind Florida, but they've got 2 games in hand. So I think they'll have no problem getting back in that first spot. So what is it that Toronto needs to push past the second round? Who's that player?
Let's do something different with trades, regards to trades. So here's the thing. We always kind of layer in that third line center, potentially maybe second line center, Ryan O'Reilly, broken hand, whatever, sort of really didn't play. Or let's layer in that number 6 defenseman or the third string goalie. No. if we need to go past the second round, you and I already talked about this, man. And if we can ever get that footage back from that hockey gentleman from Belarus, I think it was, his name was Adrian or something. He said in the rumors that Sidney Crosby for Easton Cowan needs to come to Toronto. So instead of us kind of layering in a player, either we go for it or we don't. Because I'm telling you, what's his name? Yarncroc. I got Calle Johansson in my head now. If Yarncroc comes back, he's a perfectly salvageable third line center, can play up and down your lineup. We don't have to give away anything at all. The defense is starting to sort itself out. You know what I mean? And a lot of the teams that have won the cup over the past years didn't really have anything crazy. A lot of times I look at their defense, I go, how did they win? You know what I mean? You ever do that? Look at it and go, how did they even win? How'd they get there?
Oh, yeah.
Like Vegas. What? Terry Angelo is slow as all get out with 2 players on their team. I'm like, how did they get there? Aiden, what? Hill, what? How did they get there, right? Unless we go for, like, either we go big or let's keep it. So Crosby would be crazy. Who are you thinking? You got somebody in mind?
Yeah. So Crosby would be crazy. I would love to see Sidney Crosby on that team. I think that's going big. Like, that is definitely a statement. I hate to see the price you got to pay to send it back for a year of Crosby, but there's been a lot of talk, a lot of rumor, a lot of blah, blah, blah about a certain shithead from the Boston Bruins.
Really? Number 63?
Number 63. The word on the street.
Brad,
He is available. So Brad Marchand may be available in the trade market right now in Boston, who you know. So Boston is looking to move Trent Frederick, and they're also looking to move Brad Marchand. Dude, Brad Marchand adds a playoff element to a lot of different teams. A lot of teams that
for sure
maybe in the first round, looking at a first round exit, you're looking at teams who are now like, hey, Brad Marchand makes my second line better. He makes
he's a winger,
my
right?
first line
he's
better.
A winger, he's not a center.
He's not a center
winger
on a lot of teams, right? I don't know, dude. Like I don't know what team.
Were we going to trade Tuukka Rask for him? We've got Tuukka Rask. Like, are they going to take Joseph Wall and he'll turns into Tuukka Rask? Who would Boston internally trade for us?
I gotta get this stupid dog over here for a second. Who can pay for Brad Marchand, and who can pay whatever that price is going back? You know for sure there's a first round pick in there somewhere. Like, there's a first round pick, and there is what else?
He's only $6 million, right? He's cheap. He's like 6.3.
Right. So he's 6.3, but what's the price going back? So what do you have to pay for Brad Marchand? Because you want him, if he's going to a team somewhere, that team's going to have to pay. You're going to have to give up.
How old is he? 34? Is that what we're thinking? Somewhere in that area?
Is he younger than that?
Is he younger than that?
I don't know. Let me find out.
He's in that area. He's like 31 to 35.
He's into second contract, right? He's second
or
contract.
Third.
Bradley Marchand.
He's in that area. So, okay.
You talk.
So if you look at Brad Marchand, if I'm Boston and I'm like, okay, so who would he
36
be?
years old. 36.
So he's 36, right? Okay.
2.5. He's in year 8 of his contract. He's played 56 this year. He's got 19 goals, 24 assists, 60 PIMs. And this is,
he's a jerk we want on our team for the playoffs. But
100%. But I don't want to pay the price.
What do you get? What would Boston want it?
If you're Boston,
what do you want? Yeah.
So if you're Boston, you have nothing in the pipeline. Zero. Zilch.
No.
So you're looking at a team who's on the outside looking in that's got some young players that could potentially do something. Utah's kind of on the outside looking in with some young players and a bit of pick capital out there.
Seattle does too. I
think Seattle's they're kind of out of the picture though. But Utah is only 3. I think Utah is 3 or 4 points behind Calgary for that wild card spot.
Right. Yeah.
And you add Brad Marchand right now to your lineup, and is that 2 or 3 more wins and 5 or 6 more points in the standings, and you get past to kind of a slow Vancouver, you get past Calgary that falters a little bit. Like, he's from the East Coast, right? He is, yeah. Who else? Like, let me throw out a crazy suggestion for a team that would want Brad Marchand, and we talked about them already. The Winnipeg Jets. Okay. And they've got they've got young players. They've got pick capital. They've got, I think they have cap space. Like, they're low in the cap. Oh yeah, they're fine. He's always cap responsible for sure. So so look at how good Winnipeg's been, and then you add Brad Marchand to that. Like, is that, like, are you guaranteeing yourself a Stanley Cup? Yeah, and they've been good trade partners in the past, Winnipeg and Boston. They've traded with each other too. So that's a possibility, and that might
separate them from, Edmonton and your Las Vegas, and Minnesota is starting to fall. They're starting to fall out there.
They are, and that is definitely the Edmonton separator, right? Like you've
Yeah.
got to beat Draisaitl and McDavid, and that's the only two things you have to beat. And Brad Marchand potentially eliminates one of them because he can stay with them. He can play and skate with either one of those and eliminate them from the equation.
Yeah.
That's got to be his job, right? His job is got to be he's a pest. He's got to shut them down. Yeah. Or do you see a team like Minnesota? Does Minnesota say, hey, we're faltering. We need to boost our lineup. We need to bring somebody in. Is this the guy that does it? And can we pay the price?
Well, I don't know how much cap room because they're still paying for the two boys from Minnesota, right? For another, I think, 2 years.
They have
some crazy
$8 million in space, $8.2 million.
They can do it, yeah. And they're still paying for
Suter,
Zach Parise and Suter, right?
Yeah,
I think one more year, maybe one more or two, mate. So
this is the last year. This is the last year for them. And
does he have a no move? Marchand has a no move, I think, right?
I'm sure he does. He must have a no move, right?
But he'd go to win, right? He would go to Minnesota. He would go to Winnipeg. He's a good guy. I think he would go. I mean, I don't see what
or would he say, that's it. I'm not going anywhere. This is my team for life and forget it. Even if it's a rental and I'm going to re-sign.
Yeah.
Does he?
But he could do that rental re-sign.
He could do a rental re-sign. Like he could do like a Ryan O'Reilly or something like that. I'm just looking for
for sure.
His contract details. He has no move.
And while you're looking at that, Braden Shen is somebody else who from St. Louis that's been floated out there as a pretty good get overall. You know what I mean? He's somebody who can score, can drop the glove. Anybody's brother is Luke Shen. You've got to be able to drop the gloves because you probably fought your brother a whole whack of times too. So he can fight. I saw him fight. He did good.
He has so here's the modification on his contract. Year 6, he has a 6-team approved trade list. Year 7, he has a 15-team no trade. So he has a modified no trade.
Modified.
Year 8, he has an 8-team no trade list. So he's provided 15 teams he wouldn't get traded to. And for year 8, he's provided 8 teams he wouldn't get traded to. I wonder what those 8 teams are. That'd be interesting to know. Like, I'm not going to Winnipeg because it's minus $1 billion outside right now.
Yeah, but if you're skating on the rink anyways, man, it doesn't matter where you are in Canada. And Boston's cold as all get out right now too, right? So it doesn't matter so much.
You got to think Brad Marchand's like a New York kind of guy, like a New York, Montreal. That's another team that could take him too, is Montreal. Montreal would take Brad Marchand, but the rivalry is so hot there. Like, would he go play with them?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. But you see him in that commercial. He goes, I love the tip, right? 63% tip. What a great hockey commercial. They talk about the goalies and all that stuff, and he floats in there. And he's a funny guy, right? So I think that he's built for Toronto. He really is. He's got the great attitude for Toronto. He would fit in great with us. But again, what do you trade? Like, do you have to trade extra if you're Toronto to get this guy? Probably, right?
You do. And Toronto doesn't have anything to give back that we would want to give back. Like, if you're thinking about, you're going to give up a second line winger. So let's say he's second line winger. Who are you giving off the second line to go to Boston? Nobody.
I wouldn't trade McMahon for him. No way.
Bobby McMahon. Oh, buddy.
1.3 million for 2 more years. Plus this year, he's flying high. What a great sign. Great contract.
He scored an exciting goal, and the guy is so fast out there. Like, watching him skate, again, seeing it in person. I've never seen the guy skate in person. Whoa. Can he move? He's got a set of wheels on him. Scored a beauty of a goal. Like, come on. This guy for the next 2 years, this is the kind of guy that Toronto needs. And unfortunately, in 3 years from now, he's going to demand a significant contract. He's probably going to demand, a 6x6, 7x7, something like that. But anyways, I digress. Back to so Brad Marchand's out there. Trade partners look like Utah, Winnipeg, like teams that can afford him. And the price going back, so I think what you can't have happen if you're Boston, you messed up the Jeremy Swayman thing. Yeah. Publicly, it was a disaster. So you can't screw that up again. So you have to make sure you manage your public perception. So if Boston does decide to make a trade, they have to be cautious about, what do we get for this guy? Because it's got to come back in youth and, potential future.
For sure.
Again, they've got nothing. They've got less than Toronto's got.
There's a kid in Winnipeg who was drafted 2 years ago. He was the captain of the Owen Sound Attack. I believe that's the name.
Oh,
so he was drafted 18th overall. He then was traded from Owen Sound to Oshawa this year. I'm surprised he didn't make the team. The kid is a definite leader. I'm trying to talk more until we can look up his name because I can't remember it right now. But
talking very slowly.
yes, 18th overall draft. There you go, Mr. Barlow.
Is that?
He is a kid that if I was Boston and there's a trade, he'd have to be part of that trade. Colby Barlow, Colby, a first-round draft pick, and I don't know, somebody who they want to throw in kind of thing. So essentially you get 2 first-round draft picks, and I don't know what else do they need. Their defense is pretty good, so they just need forwards, right? Potential scoring forwards.
Winnipeg sends this guy and a first-rounder and another prospect in the pipeline somewhere.
Yeah.
Because that's all. Like, what else would Boston want? Nothing. They're out of the picture right now.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
I'm
telling you, this kid, when he comes up, he's going to be a star.
Right. Boston's in a bad spot too. They're in the mushy middle. They're like, so Tampa's got 62 points. Boston's got 60 points. Now,
right.
Tampa's got 3 games in hand, but you're still like Boston's in such a bad spot. Like, you're not going anywhere. You kind of want to tank at this point for a better draft pick. Not that tanking happens. Happens. No. If you're Gary Bettman, you don't think tanking happens?
No, never. Right.
Who else? So anyways, let's talk about Toronto. What does Toronto need at the trade deadline? And here is my controversial answer to what Toronto needs to do at the deadline. Are you ready for my controversial answer?
I'm ready.
It's big. It's controversial. It's juicy. We should flash like controversial across the screen here.
Love it.
Here it is. Nothing. They should do nothing at the trade deadline.
Either do the biggest thing they can, and it's got to be big. Like I said, that's what I was talking about Crosby before. It's got to be Crosby big. Like that kind of big, or forget about it. Don't waste your time. Don't throw away a first round, second round, third round pick for something you already have on your team somewhere. I agree.
Yeah. So
makes sense.
That's the controversy. And so I think if they're going to do anything, it's got to be big. And I'm with you. It's got to be Crosby or Marchand big. Yeah. What place do you think Toronto finishes in the Atlantic this year? So if we're to go back and if we look at the standings right now, Tampa's probably not going to catch Toronto. They're not good enough. But if Toronto stays where they are, we play Tampa in the first round again. I'm okay playing Tampa in the first round, but I'd much rather play like Detroit or Ottawa or something like, whoever's kind of on the outside looking in, like that wild card spot.
Yeah.
I think the wild card spot right now is Detroit. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're in first spot, you're playing Detroit. Thank you very much.
I'm good with Detroit. You know who scares the Jeebus out of me is Columbus and Ottawa both. We cannot beat those 2 teams, man.
Ottawa also scares the bejeebus out of me. Speaking of which, my stepdaughter got me this Jesus candle from the dollar store for Christmas. It's been this joke around the house. And now every time anybody does something stupid, it's like, look, Jeebus is looking at us because it's this. I put it on top of this cupboard so you couldn't see it. And now it's like, it's been turned so it looks at people.
Oh my gosh. I love it. So good.
So off topic.
Well, speaking of that, there was a player for the Niagara Ice Dogs named David Jesus.
That's right. I remember.
He wore number 25, right? Remember I had that picture of him and
Christmas.
Defenseman. Yeah. I think it was David Jesus, but whatever. David Jesus, same thing. But
it's definitely David Jesus. And if you're number 25 and your name is David Jesus,
come on. It was meant to be.
Yeah.
Right?
I think Ottawa scares the shit out of me too. Like, I don't want to play Ottawa. I kind of do, because I think Toronto will move through them. I think there's 2 problems there. You don't get a good, I think if you're playing against Ottawa, you don't get a good enough taste of the battle you have to get into the second round, because somewhere along the line, you're going to have to get through Florida or Washington.
Florida. Yeah.
You got to get through Florida, right? And Toronto's been the better team this year, but Florida rises to the occasion in the playoffs better. So I'd rather, right? So you kind of want a bit of a battle, but like a 5-gamer, I don't know, man.
I don't know. In Washington, I still can't believe they're playing how they're playing or where they are. I still believe they're playing way above their head. It makes no sense whatsoever. Like, everything is being balanced perfectly, like a house of cards, man. Like, this thing, something hits it the wrong way, it's gone. Like, I just still can't believe how they're doing what they're doing. Like, I got a guy that works with me. He's a huge Washington fan. He has been forever, and he likes them because he remembers that goal by Ovechkin. When he was a kid, he was watching, and when he falls down and he's lying on his back and he shoots that puck into the net, like that, one of the best goals that he's ever scored. He remembers that goal, and that's how that became his team. And I asked him, I go, dude, why are they so good? He goes, just because they're Washington, man. I go, so you don't have a clue? He's like, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. Right.
And
I don't know.
How exciting would it be for Ovechkin? So he's got 15 to go, 16 to go. 16 to go?
16, I think. Yeah.
He's got 16 to beat right now. how exciting would it be if they go on this playoff run and like he's got like, does he have a shot at doing this year? Like let's be real for a second. Does Ovechkin have a real chance at doing this year?
I think so. He's got what, 30 games ish left? We'll say 30, so a goal every other game.
28. He's got 28 games to go. Score 16. That's definitely within his wheelhouse. Like it's like, yeah.
And he scored so many empty net goals. Like he's the king of empty net goals.
I know.
Right. So he's going to be out there anytime they got a lead late by 2 or by 1. He's on the ice. He's going to get that goal.
They're feeding the puck for sure.
They are. Well, here's the other thing. If Ovechkin beats Gretzky this year, does he retire?
Wow. Yes, I think he does.
I think so too.
I think he retires and he goes somewhere. Like I think he retires and
goes to KHL. Goes back home.
Yeah, I think he goes to the K and he puts in 2 or 3 more years, unless he goes like Yager and puts in 23 more years. I don't know. Yager's 81 years old and still benching 225 and
for sure. Yeah. Unbelievable.
The Russian
and
gas,
his hair's still growing. Still growing. So jealous.
That guy's got a flow, I tell you. He's got something.
The flow of all. Best salad ever, man.
Best salad ever.
Best salad ever.
Let's change gears a little bit. We'll talk about the Four Nations Cup because we got that break coming up. We're talking about Four Nations, and I just wanted to share an opinion with you about Four Nations Cup and kind of hear your thoughts. So I'm feeling right now about the Four Nations Cup. I'm feeling like this.
I'm with you.
Give me a fun All-Star game where they're playing goofy games, or they're playing the 3-on-3s, or like John Scott's getting voted into the All-Star game.
So good.
Like that was great. I am not it's not really a best on best, I don't think, because you've only got 4 teams in it, and you're missing some very notable teams, specifically Russia and Czechia.
Right. Why they're not? Well, we know why Russia's not still.
I know they didn't announce it, but like it's the scuttlebutt around town is that he's going to be the guy. Like
is Uyghur or Tanev is what I heard.
Well, so he's also told them. So Uyghur has said, I'm upset I didn't get a phone call. They didn't tell me. So essentially he said they didn't tell me yes, no, kiss my ass, anything. They didn't tell him anything. But he said, I'm happy to wait by the phone and I'd be honored to join the team. And Tanev, I don't know that I heard Tanev made a comment. Did he comment on that? Did he talk about it?
I don't know if he did, but they were talking about like if it's down to, well, I think they said it's down to three defensemen. Drew Doughty, but he's just come back. How much has he really played? They're not sure where he is. Uyghur, if they're looking for a well-rounded defenseman who could score and defend, or are they looking for a guy who's just going to be shut down puck eater, right? And if that's the case, then Chris Tanev, that's what his game is, right?
Tanev's such a good add to that team because he's such an amazing shot blocker. My problem with that is that, I guess my biggest problem with this Four Nations Cup thing is also like you've got some guys in the Leafs that are in this tournament that if they go down in this Four Nations Cup and that affects the playoff run, like you've got Matthews, Nylander, potentially Tanev if he decides to go play for them. Marner. Yeah. Like, yikes, buddy. Like, I don't know that I could, again, and it's not, like, for me, let's have a true best on best. Let's have a World Cup of hockey every year, and let's have it before the NHL season, or let's have the mid-season break, and let's have, like, an 8-team tournament. Like, let's have Canada, Finland, Sweden, Germany, Russia, U.S., Slovenia. Like, let's have those teams, and let's not have a 4-nation team where you've got some of the greatest hockey players in the world, hello, Leon Draisaitl, not playing in a best-on-best tournament. How do you not have these amazing players playing?
And how does he not have a Canadian citizenship? What's this guy thinking? Like, come on. You live in Canada. You've been in Canada for, 9 years? Come on. If you had a Canadian citizenship, we'd welcome him on the team, right?
Heck, yes, we would.
Why not?
Who wouldn't?
Right at the document.
Yeah, that's... anyways, so I just thought I love the old... Like, if you think back, you and I can remember back to the days of like Clarence Conference versus Clarence Campbell versus the Wales Conference. Yeah. And you've got like those beauty orange and black jerseys and
for sure. With the stars around the waist. Oh yeah, for sure. I remember.
Yeah. Yzerman, Hull, like that those were, and Gretzky would go off for 9 goals in an all-star game. And
beautiful.
Like, I want that, or I want the 3-on-3 tournament, which I love. I think that's an amazing format. Especially when Michael Bublé is all whacked out on mushrooms trying to announce his team. That's amazing.
That's awesome. Michael Bublé's my favorite, buddy. I saw him on The Voice. What a character this guy is. Which, by the way, his first season he won. He is so funny, man. I love Michael Bublé, buddy. You rock.
He's hilarious.
You should be an honorary Toronto Maple Leaf. Pardon?
Well, he watches our podcast.
Obviously. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, we drink his stuff. Michael Bubble. We drink his stuff. We're going to hopefully be sponsored by him.
Yeah, Well, and our sponsorship from Tim Hortons hasn't seemed to pan out somehow, so I don't know what's
No,
happening
yeah.
there.
Yeah, let's
Have
go
you
with Michael Bubble.
Speaking of
I
Tim
like it.
Hortons, have you noticed on the Timmy's app how shitty the choices are for players? Like they must be giving away too
Yes.
much coffee, and
Yes.
they're trying to like nerf the
Oh,
contest a
buddy,
bit
they
here.
have so many injured players that are on there. They're popping up, and like my wife and her friend are going to pick, and now I have to stop them. I go, whoa, don't pick that person. They're injured. What? I go,
Nope.
before you pick them, check the injury report because you're going to
Yeah.
see. And Tim's doesn't care. I think they're looking for injury. That's right-handed injured. Or Connor McDavid when he's suspended. Oh, we'll put him in there for sure.
Or Brett Hull.
Good old Bretty Spaghetti. Hey, so just Four Nations, just back, we'll end that.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're doing Four Nations because we haven't done Olympics with the NHL for a long time, and that's just our way of saying sorry?
100%. Yeah. Oh, I don't think Gary Bettman says sorry, by the way. That's definitely not a thing.
Well,
Like,
that's his way of saying you're not wrong. You're not wrong. He's not saying you're right. He's saying you're not wrong.
I like that theory. I think that could definitely be a thing. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and you get the Olympics coming up in a couple of years, right? So this could be a pseudo
Preamble. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and man, like the U.S. team looks good. Like you got Hellebuck in net, and for that U.S. team, like that could be trouble. I think Canada's got better skaters, but the goaltending is second tier at best. Where you've got elite goaltending in the U.S. team, and like man, I don't know.
And I heard a rumor, and the rumor, a couple of people were talking about Connor McDavid coming to Toronto. Like he's not going to sign in Edmonton after this year, I think, right? He's got one more year, and he's just going to walk and come to Toronto.
Really?
Yeah.
Could
What do you think
imagine
of that? What do you think of them apples?
McDavid
as they
and
would
Matthews,
say if you were from Boston.
McDavid and Matthews and Marner on the same team?
Dude, and at 105, if 105 is the cap, we can afford it.
That's
because at that time,
you can definitely afford that.
2 years, Tavares might not be there in 2 years or whatever, or if it's a game. Wow.
Oh man, so who plays where? Like,
I don't even think it matters.
Like you don't have a top line anymore. You have two top lines, and you have like two elite top lines in the league now.
For sure.
Oh, buddy.
That's sort of like we would be the Dodgers of hockey, the LA Dodgers of hockey.
That's right. Yeah. That's exactly what that'd be. And you're going to have teams be able to separate themselves a little bit, like teams that can spend some money and be able to go and say, like, okay, so we're going to spend some money and we're going to pay to have these two top echelon players. And we'll
pay him like $16 million each. Boom, boom. Like, because Matthews comes up, he's in his first year of his 4 year. Did he sign up? It was a 4 year. I think they ended up signing.
5 years.
4 or 5, one of the two. Anyways. Whatever it was at 13.5. So then you sign. Yeah, man, what happens? Like they're in McDonald's commercials together. I know that's maybe Four Nations, but I don't know. The boys are talking.
What did I say? I said 4 years, right?
Yeah, 5.
It's 4 years. No, it's 4 years.
It is 4 years.
You're right. I thought it was 5, but it was 4, which is a great contract.
His last contract was 5 years, and then this one he signed for 4 years. He's getting smarter agents. He knows what he's worth, and he knows how to max out his total dollars. Plus, this is aside, his acting acumen is getting better because I remember the first year he did the RBC commercial. He looked like a deer in the headlights, kind of like he was wearing that really ugly orange turtleneck, right? And he was reading the script. Now he's acting, he's reading nothing. He's probably ad-libbing. Him and Jim Carrey, they're rolling lines. He's going out to improv. He's looking good, man. He's making a ton of dough in TO.
What are the chances that commercial has started a relationship with the two of them, and that is the beginning of 2 years from now, where you've got 97 and 34 on the same team?
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, they talk, man. They're in tournaments and they talk about stuff. For sure, this happens. It's real. They're humans, right? Why would you not? Does
Leon become the Mark Messier of the Edmonton Oilers again, and he's number 2, second banana, and he sticks around and he becomes the captain, and they go on a cup run and like that.
And not make it because no one's. Again, they would never make it because who's going to beat that Leaf team with Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander,
Stolarz, Wall, nobody,
Alexander Nylander.
I didn't hate him, man. I didn't hate him at all. Like you saw the crystal ball.
I saw the potential. Right, and then. Anyway, we'll see how that kind of goes. Yeah, so the Leafs don't need to trade for anybody at the deadline to wrap that up. They can just bring up Alexander Nylander. You're right, Rick. Let's do that.
Hey, that's an option, man.
He can't be playing fourth line, third line ish. He's got to be playing third or second line, somewhere up and down in there to really make a difference because the guy's a goal scorer. He's a big kid. He's bigger than William.
Honestly, he's got to do what Nyes has been doing, and he's got to be that big muscle in front of the net on the third line.
Yeah.
Like that's what he has to do. Second PP in front of the net. Like, and we didn't talk about Matthew Nyes, but I want to talk about we've talked about the evolution of Matthew Nyes and how great he's been and how much he's been improving. Matthew Nyes, he looks better and better every game. Like he looks like he's big, he's tough, he's got hands, he can score. Yep. He checks check all these boxes, buddy. He
who has he been working with to tip that puck in front of the net like that? Like
I don't know. Joe Thornton.
Wow. Like seriously,
must be Jumbo.
It might be Joe because he's tipping pucks like he's not afraid of anything. It's like 100-mile. She's like, yeah, I'll tip it with my nose. I don't care. Whatever. I don't.
He's in the mixer, man. He's right in the mixer, and it's fun to watch. Anyways, hey, we'll save that for the next podcast. And Hey,
sounds good.
I got nothing else, man. What do you got?
All right, buddy. No. Like I said, I like. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you who I'm picking for the Four Nations, and I don't know if I should pick anybody because last time I picked the Washington Redskins over Philadelphia and Buffalo over Kansas City, I jinxed those teams. So I'm not saying anything. I'm not picking anyone.
Perfect. And I'd like to make a big football game prediction and say that I hope both teams lose.
Okay, I'm with you. Or it just ends in a tie.
Yeah, that's right. A tie.
Forever tie.
They cut the trophy in half.
Yeah, there you go. Sharesies.
Follow and talk to us on TikTok, YouTube. Hopefully we'll have YouTube sorted out this week because we didn't have it sorted out last week. Spotify, Podbean, Apple Podcasts. I don't know. We're everywhere, man. We're everywhere on the social medias, on the podcast areas. Can we call ourselves TikTokers now because we put ourselves out on TikTok or YouTubers?
Obviously.
We're all that. Vloggers.
Vloggers for sure, buddy. 100%.
It's like having those letters after your name. Anyways, have an awesome week and go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go.
Thanks for tuning in to the Hockey Huddle and hanging out with us through all the slap shots, big hits, and highlight reel plays. Whether you're a diehard fan or just getting into the game, we appreciate you being part of our hockey family. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and hit us up on social media with your thoughts, questions, or hot takes. We love hearing from you. Until next time, keep your stick on the ice, your head up, and we'll catch you in the next period. Take care, everyone.